Episode 6, Rebuilding Steve, week 7, a lot of work to do. Are you ready?
Absolutely.
Let's go. We're going to start right away with pulling today, and then we'll start to give everybody an update. But Steve, I want you to go ahead and jump right into this. Here's how we're going to do this today. I want you to start where your right hand is here, right knee's here, left foot's back. I want you grabbing the kettlebell really good. I want you to really be thinking about gripping hard with your pinky and ring finger, and I want you pulling back and holding for about 3 seconds. Ideally, you breathe in when you go down, you breathe out when you come up. Does that make sense? All right, it's all you. Come on down. So just before we got on here, we did start today with a big warm-up, which was a lot of fun. His first day of being on the Versa Climber, and he did amazing. 30 feet of climb. He sprinted a little bit, which was really fun. We told him not to, and he did anyway. That's our Steve. Did really great with that. Loved his technique. And he recovered really well. And so we did 2 sets of that. So he's nice and clammy, full body already to get us warm and going, because we needed those tissues and that body temperature elevated so that he can start pulling. We can start recruiting some more of that strength, because this is a big strength building week for us. Nice. Let's get 2 more for me, please, sir. Nice. One last one. Nice. Take a break. How many more do you feel like you have from like a cardio perspective, oxygen perspective, and then versus just strength in general?
Probably another 10 or 15.
Nice, and that's what we want. So another 10 or 15 you could do. Now sit here, you're gonna sit here for about a minute, and then we'll get started. After it feels like it's been about 60 seconds, I'll have you start on the other side, okay? All right, Ashley, give us our update of the week.
Super excited, wife over here. Steve last night was able to turn off his oxygen for 2.5 hours.
Nice.
And stay in the 90s. It was pretty awesome. He even
That's awesome.
got up, walked to the table. We had dinner, no oxygen.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
I cried.
I love it. I love it, bro.
So we're definitely headed the right direction. And I think one of our secret weapons, we may have talked about it on camera, but Steve did karaoke before that, and we noticed that after doing karaoke for a little while, he oxygenates really, really well. So it's a great lung exercise for anybody dealing with that out there. Do some karaoke. Good
awesome.
fun, good lung exercise.
Absolutely.
Awesome. And his wound is healing up really nicely. It's starting to grow skin over it. So hopefully in the next 3 or 4 weeks, our wound will be healed up.
Nice. No, that's awesome. But the singing, one of the most beautiful parts of it, we started off early on. We started even when you were in the hospital, making sure you were getting those good breathing techniques, forcing that diaphragm to do its job better, and trying to really hone in on the ability to activate that. The cool part about when you sing is you don't have a choice. You have to get that oxygen into the lungs to be able to, perform the act. So the cool thing is that it's a great way to take your mind off the thing and still do the thing. So you can do something that's a little bit more enjoyable, but still focus on great diaphragmatic control. It's impossible to sing and then draw your belly button in or hold funny and do all these things. So that's why we love it so much. And I'm really, really excited that he was able to do that.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Give me about 3 more.
He's also gained almost 25 pounds. So we're
Nice.
back to like target weight, at least my target weight for him. I don't know. So we might have to turn down the calories a little bit.
Exactly. And that's the move, is you start now tracking, make sure we're still hitting our protein, but otherwise we're starting to come down on those a little bit. And then only if you're dropping, consistently, you see 2 pounds going down a week or something like that, that's when we would bring it back up. But this is going to be way harder than you think, though, to transition to that maintenance calories. That's the key thing that we want to do, is transition back to maintenance, which means where you're not gaining, you're not losing, but as you're regaining strength, that body composition will change back over. So we'll start to see more muscle mass coming back, and we'll start to see that we'll have less adipose or fat tissue there, and it'll just keep developing. The good news is for Steve is that he was strong before. Not too strong. We don't want to build up his ego here, but he was a pretty strong guy. So the reality of the situation is that there's this mind-muscle connection, this neurological response will occur, and that muscle will actually start to come back pretty good when we give that stimulus, way faster than if he never had that strength at all. So that's something that's really advantageous for us. Okay, you ready to do this next weight? This one will actually be a little harder. So what we're going to do today, I want you to just start with 6 on this side and see how it feels. You'll do everything the same way. But this is going to be about 10 pounds heavier. So this is 25 pounds. And so now you'll actually get to feel like you're actually pulling something. This will be great. Nice. Hold, hold, breathe in, go down slow, pull. 2. Hold, hold, breathe in, down slow, pull. Nice. Breathe in, slow. Nice. Breathe in, pull. Nice. Last one. Breathe in, pull. Attaboy. And slowly down. Let it go and recover. What y'all's plans this week? Y'all do anything fun?
We have started going to the gym. And so is this one of the exercises that he could be doing at the gym?
For sure. So at the gym, it always depends on the equipment that's available. So in Steve's case now, we've effectively had one really good pushing exercise. We have one good pulling exercise. And we have some other things that we've been doing squatting wise for the legs. Our big thing is going to be getting our pushing and pulling going at the gym. And so our favorite for right now are definitely the machines if you can. So we're looking for the machines that make it really simple. What do? They lock out all the other motions to make it simple that, hey, it's in a locked path and I'm going to do pulling. So our favorite is the chest supported row for you right now. So it's where you're sitting basically in this position. There's a chest pad here. And from there, we're going to weight it up and we're going to do pulls. I want you for this first week to 2 weeks, we're going to do that every other day or every third day. And the goal is going to be for you to feel like you could do 5 to 10 more after each set, but it still was somewhat difficult. That's going to be the most important part for us, is that you have quite a bit left in the tank, because we're still trying to bring back that tendon awareness and that tendon strength. One of the hard parts about being in the bed for so long is that your tendons start to lose some of their properties, meaning they lose the ability to be really good at springy loads. And so we've got to bring that back, but heavy resistance is what stimulates that collagen to do its job. So that's why I care so much about the pulling. Not only is it actually for our muscles, but it's for our tendons, because we know you're somewhat of a hot mess with certain things you'll do. You'll just rapidly do them because it's fun, but at the same time, that loads the tendon a lot. And I don't want you just tripping off lots of tendinitises, right? I don't want you to feel like, oh, now my elbow, and now it's my shoulder, and now it's my hip, and now my Achilles. All those things are of high risk to us at this point. So for us to control that the best, the most important thing we've got to do is do the heavy, slow strength, because that's what brings that back, and slowly introduce the quicker movements. Does that make sense? So today we're going to do some of that a little bit by having you in a squat, where we're going to make you do some quick reactions here in a sec, but I definitely want to see you pull this other side. So while he does that, let's just talk through. So the seated rows again, make sure that when he's doing those, he has quite a bit more in the tank, but let's just do 3 sets of those. And each time he's moving the weight up. So like the first one should be like very light. So he did like 15 pounds a second ago. Let's have it even lighter than that. To where it feels the same as that. So that might be 30 pounds, or it might actually end up being a little bit heavier weight as far as the weight stack goes. And that's because when you have that extra support, you're more stable, it makes it easier. So he's gonna go for feel. Feel's gonna be the most important part, where there feels like, oh, that's pretty easy, but I'm just doing the motion to bring blood there. And then the next set gets a little harder. And that third set is like, yeah, I definitely couldn't do 10 more of those. Does that make sense? Yeah, that'll be really important for our pulling. We also want to do one exercise of pushing as well. So a seated push, a converging chest press is what a lot of them are called. And that's going to be a really great one for us, where you're basically doing the same thing as the bench press, where we're laying down, but it's a machine where we can go there. And so we'll get back and forth on video while you're at your gym to make sure on the right piece of equipment and the right alignment, and we'll make sure that works out perfect. Great. But we definitely want a good pushing, a good pulling, and we got to start introducing a little bit more leg pushing. And so that's where that's going to depend on how's the bed sore doing, how's the pressure going, and then can we start introducing there. Until then, we're just going to squat. We're going to do lots of body weight squats and start holding the weight for a few. And so that's going to be the big things at the gym this week. Does that make sense?
Plus the cardio piece.
Cardio.
Like some elliptical or seated bike. Something.
I didn't hear if you gave an update on the bed sore.
I did. Yeah, that it was starting to grow skin. It's going really,
yeah,
going
that's
really,
so
really
awesome,
well.
man. Because once that's completely healed, oh, you're mine. I mean, it's going to be good.
Steve is so excited to take a bath. because
Yes.
he's a bath guy. He takes a bath like every day. So he's so
Yeah.
excited to be able to get in the bathtub.
Oh, it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
It'll be awesome. All right, bro, you're up.
Yeah.
Oh, the beach.
Let's go.
Let's
I'm
do it.
super excited about that.
Come on up. You're going to stand. We got more fun things to do. Good job. Yeah. So how do your arms feel after all that pulling? Good. Okay, so here's what we're going to do now. I want you to basically just get into a mini squat. So not like when we were doing our TRX squats where we were going very low. Yep, right there's perfect. All we're going to do is your head's going to follow me wherever I go, and you're going to stay low. If you need a break to come out of it, you come out of it, right? If you feel like oxygen's dropping, it's too much or too much burn in the legs, you let me know. But otherwise, we're trying to condition that. So I want it to get uncomfortable in the legs, but I want you to be able to stick through it. But we're going to be just throwing this back and forth, just like that. See?
Warning.
See? Why would I give you warning? That wouldn't be any fun. No good. But what we're doing here is we've got to start reintroducing reaction times. We've got to start getting back to more dynamic positions of loading our joints and our tendons. But the reaction times are going to be key. Nice. But that hand-eye coordination piece is crucial. And we got to remember, like getting back to all the fun things in life, what we've got to do is life comes at us fast. Our head will be looking one way, we'll be seeing a thing, and we'll be doing all these reaction-like activities. But what's so important is that we train back to them while also still conditioning other parts of the body. Nice. Couple more. And one more. Nice. How'd balance go this week? You can come out of that.
This deal?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't actually do any of those this week.
Oh, nice. Okay. So, hey, everybody, this is a very big moment. We are introduced to Slacker Steve. So I knew at some point we would hit the point where Steve's going to try to get out of something difficult. This is that moment. Steve, you're not allowed to do that. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. We are going to definitely do our balance. It is harder than you think it is, right? It's hard. So let me show you how I want you to train that actually. Stay right there. So when you have a doorway, it's a little bit easier. So when you have a doorway, it's a little bit easier. But right now, we don't have a doorway, okay? So we're in an open space so that we can move around and start doing some dynamic things. But I want you to do it in a squat, but I also want to do it where you have to balance a little bit. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to look at the principle here. So if I get you here in that, what we call a tandem stance, so one foot's right in front of the other, just like you're trying to be on a balance beam, this is quite a bit harder to dynamically control, right? And we still have some range of motion to fix in the ankles and things like that. As we work on that, it's going to get easier too. But I still want you to have to get used to the idea of training it and getting balance back, because that's going to be the hard part. As your confidence keeps coming back with movements, as you get stronger, you're going to just jump right back into the mental state of like just grabbing everything, doing things like you normally would. The balance is going to be the thing that's going to seem that lags behind the most. And all of a sudden, you're going to feel like you're on unsteady footing when you didn't expect to be. And that's why we have to make this a major priority. And so the key is if here you can't stick it, if you can't be there, I'm cool with you now just going a little bit wider or a little bit wider. Wherever it is where it's like, okay, that's challenging, I got to think about it, but I'm not like
That's
this.
exactly what he does at home in a doorway, just like flailing uncontrollably.
Exactly. And so that would be what we call useless, right? Like it's cool once or twice, but then it's like once that's happening, like I don't even know what that is. So we want to find that point where you're like, okay, you're off a little bit, but you can still stick it. So I don't care how wide you have to get, but like, let's be realistic. Don't start here and be like, oh, I'm good, right? Like, of course. Okay, so let's try it. So what I want you to do here, use this to right you, but you're not allowed to do all that stuff, okay? Because that won't actually give us the feedback we want. So start a little wider. Yep. And what's this like?
Way better than when we tried at home, I can tell you that. Even there, he would be flailing.
Yeah, that's
Are you
really
just
good.
trying harder in front of Jason, in front of the cameras?
No.
Hey, my presence does seem to bring on some higher level effort.
It
And I'm
definitely
okay with
does.
I'm okay with
Steve wants to please you.
I just pooped my pants exercise we just did.
that. Which one's that one?
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, nice. You think that made this easier? Yeah, okay, good. All right, so go again. Go again.
Steve, you're definitely looking like Dick Van Dyke right now in Chitty Chitty Bang Bang with the old bamboo song.
This is the spot.
Okay, yeah.
This is the spot.
That's not that.
That
that's
feeling,
not that wide.
you feel how your legs are holding on for dear life a little more? Like the effort's there?
Definitely.
Perfection. This is literal perfection.
You're doing great, babe.
That's amazing. So what I want you to do right now, I'm going to take this away from you. Make your foot barely wider, like a millimeter. There, right there, right there. Okay, so now stick that. How's that going?
It's okay. I still feel it in my right ankle.
Good. Do you feel mainly in the front of the ankle or just effort that you're holding on for dear life?
More like down toward the heel.
Oh, on the back, you mean back here?
Yeah.
Okay, yes, so that Achilles tendon, that's one of the things we were talking about, how those tendons are going to have a tendency to bark at us because we haven't been back to strengthening them because they lose their function when we unload them for a while. But I'm okay with you feeling that as long as you can keep hanging here. Okay. Does that make sense? Sure. So we're going to keep it going, but now we're going to have fun because we're going to toss while you do this.
Focus.
You ready?
Sure.
Here it comes. You be ready. You ready?
Yeah.
I like when I can say a word and it throws you off. You ready?
Yeah.
Oh, you didn't fall that time. Dang it. That would have been good. Nice. So there it is. Save it. Save it. Save it. Nice. Good job. Good job. Save it. Save it. Don't fall off the ship. Don't you do it. Attaboy. All right. Here it comes again. You ready? Now are you ready?
Yeah.
Ready now?
Yeah.
All right, here it comes. Good. Good. Yes. That's awesome. That's awesome. Save it. Don't you fall. I'm not going to help you.
Remember the string technique.
Nice. Attaboy. All right, now come on out of it. Take a break. That was fun.
I started to feel that in the quad.
Yeah, of course you did. That's great. That's exactly what I wanted. So you don't realize it, but that's a lot of time where that quad is having to hold on, right? Foot's having to do a whole lot, core's having to do a whole lot. And then by me distracting you and making you have to react to it, you have to get even more dynamic response. But I will say this, you accidentally made your job way harder, okay? So this is really fun. You wore a Hoka. So a Hoka is a max cushion shoe, which actually makes balance way stinking harder because it's almost like the principle of those anti-fatigue mats. Do you remember those at the back? Like I was a cashier at Sears, and I just remember I loved that mat. I was like, I want to be here, not on the hard floor. Well, anyway, the reason those works, the science behind that, they thought it was just because it was softer that literally it was just not being the hard surface. And in a way, that's kind of what it is. But the reason it's helpful is because as you sit there, it's impossible to truly keep your foot in the same position because you're always kind of sinking one way, sinking the other. Then you go the other way and the other way. And so that's how you share the load on the feet. That's why an anti-fatigue mat works. Hoka, by a similar principle, when we're doing standing activities, you're going to constantly sink as you put pressure and you don't get that instant ground feedback. So at home, ideally you're barefoot when you're doing this. But here I'm okay for it to be a little bit tougher. It's just not going to give us everything that we want. No, it's great. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do some pushing. Okay? So wall push-ups, we found pretty easy. You're a pro at those now. So now we've got to advance it, but we're not quite ready for ground push-ups yet. So the transition that's really going to help us get there is going to be at the gym. I'm going to have you start doing a little pushing, okay, on the converging chest press. But we're also going to start here. And I like this a lot because it's functional and the whole body's working with it. And it's really, really fun. So here's what you're going to do. You're going to go hands just like me, comfortably on the bench. Your leg's going to be in front. Your goal is to lower yourself down comfortably, but I want you to feel like you using the hips to come up first. So you may not be pushing your foot down fully, but here's what I don't want. I don't want you to do this and then this whole thing. And we see that all the time. But the problem with that is when you go down and you push up, well, you're just letting yourself sink in to get the arms straight, and then we defeated the whole purpose of making the pushing action happen. So it's really important that when we come up, I do need the hips to come up first. Ideally, for the first few, I'm fine if you leg dominate it, but I want you to get to where you're doing mainly hand pressing. Does that make sense? Okay, come on down. Nice, good setup. Slow, controlled, press. Nice. Breathe in on the down. Breathe in, attaboy. Push. Awesome. Again. Each one, make it a little harder on the arms if you can, but make sure hips come up first just like that. Awesome. Give me one more. Nice. All right, did you strain your glute or something then? No, that was awesome. How'd it go?
Not too bad.
Not too bad.
Yeah, definitely felt it.
So now that you're done, what feels like it did the work?
Mostly back here.
Okay, so the key is keep doing exactly what you're doing. That technique looks really great. You're gonna notice as you can start pushing harder and harder, you'll start to notice, oh, it's a lot of this. At first, you're gonna notice a lot of the back of the shoulder because it's gotta stabilize. That's what we want. The key is during the movement, we don't care as much. It's after, where does the blood come to, right? Where does that pump come to? And it's gonna come to the tissue that just did the most work. And that's what you're gonna feel afterwards. And that's that like, woo, she's tightening up. And that's what we want because that means you got the right stimulus, the right thing to make it work. Okay. So that's awesome, man. So we're gonna basically do one more set of those. And after that, that's what we bulk wanna go through this week. I mean, that's the big things. We wanna do some more balance work. We wanna start doing some more reaction. So we'll hit a couple more sets of that. But that's it, bro. That's what we need. This is money. All right. These are the 3 big ones. We're pushing, we're pulling, and we're squatting and reaction. Love it. All right, so here we go. Yes, please. Yeah, change the legs every chance you get with these. And here we go, same thing. Breathe in on the down, out and push. Nice. 2, nice. Again. 3, yes. Let's get 3 more. 2 more. Last one. Done. Attaboy. All right, man. You're out of here.